That's my plan today. We're gonna do one VOD review. Then we're gonna do one VOD review for the next 3 streams, I think, because there's only 3 left to do, and we're reaching the very end of the tournament. So these games are actually very, very good, very good games. We're into winners finals now. The last North America versus Europe match that occurs. Let me just change the scene. You guys probably thought I was about to start with no thing again. Is Twitch VOD gonna work? There it is. You just hit this button, and there we go. Hey, Jardy Man 4, thanks for the 2 months in a row. I appreciate that. As well as some people who auto-renew their regular subs. Thank you for everybody who remembers to resub with Twitch Prime, because of course, subbing once with Twitch Prime, it only counts as 1 sub. Does not auto-renew. It doesn't even remind you when your sub is going to expire. So people who remember to come back every month and re-click that button, I appreciate you.
That we've seen here so far. I don't even know if I can possibly say that because we've had so many close matches. I think both teams are very confident going in.
Mockit versus NRG. Mockit, upper finals from the top side of the bracket. Their route here was past Alpha Sydney and Rogue. So they have yet to face any EU competition, and they will not face the EU competition in the grand final or the winners finals either. Upper finals, some people call it. Meanwhile, NRG have only faced EU competition. Very, very tough road to the winner finals. A lot of people had NRG winning this just because they'd already knocked out Northern Gaming and Flipside. And I'm not sure if I could disagree with that prediction that NRG would win. I wanted NRG to win this because it would have been awesome to have an American team in the very grand finals. But yeah, best of 7. So winners finals, losers finals, and grand finals were all best of 7. Of course, with grand finals being a double best of 7, assuming that the team coming from losers would lose, would win first. I'll just make my title accurate to what we're currently doing, so that people are just seeing it can tune in if they want to watch this with us. It's good to see NRG. I remember watching this. It was good to see them all being so loud. Notice there that Jacob might have got a bump on Fairy Peak. He was rotating out of an attack and he decided to go for an aerial bump. Of course Jacob would do that. Very Jacob thing to do. An extremely aggressive tournament coming from Jacob, which is certainly a good thing. The strengths for NRG in the earlier games this tournament were pretty much their shot accuracy. It's very on point. Jacob was the best shooter on the field against Northern Gaming. Garrett was the best shooter on the field against Flipside. Fireburner probably having his best line up until this point. I'm sure they all would think that they have their best line at this point to find themselves in winners finals.
How's your day going, Johnny boy?
It's been pretty good. My day so far has included catching up on a ton of emails, catching up on a ton of meetings and stuff that I forgot. Well, not that I forgot, sorry, that I couldn't do while I was away at DreamHack Summer. But for the next, I think until, for a couple of weeks at least, I'm going to be able to sit down and stream a lot. So we're going to expect to see a lot of streams. And this is the 3rd last VOD review that we're going to be doing. I didn't review every game. Mystic showing us there why it's important to have your angle of approach spot on before you jump. What a touch by Jacob though. I saw Jacob scoring a really good goal by dodging really early like that on Reddit the other day, where he realized that the ball was too far in front of him to like hit with the nose of his car with a dodge at the start of the dodge. Usually you'll see pro players dodge into the ball at the end of their short jump and they hit it right at the start of the dodge. But Jacob is very good at hitting the ball at the end of a dodge because of course your nose is back at the front of your car once your car has done the full 360 degrees. And he often uses it as a pop technique. He'll try and hit the ball when he's 270 degrees through his dodge. Very useful strategy because of course when you dodge you get a little speed boost. There's perhaps the most expected position for K-Dop to be in, by the way. Just sitting right in the middle of the box. He'd probably shouted middle in comms and somebody just tries to put the ball straight to the side. I did just blend over a very good shot by Garrett. Garrett, one of the best players at recovering on walls and then jumping off them again. Like he'll hit the ball up to himself on the wall, And then he'll just drive up the wall and or land on the wall and then jump off again and hit it a second time. It's so dangerous in modern Rocket League to try and fly from the ground to challenge someone who is waiting on the wall. Jacob going nuts, really trying to get the crowd buzzing. Mystic is having a very bad game so far. Probably should have waited for the half volley wall clear there if he intended to, or if he wanted to get the ball clear across his net. If he wanted to hit it before the ball bounces on the wall, he should probably be hitting it with the back of his car to keep it in the corner. I'm not a big fan of side flip clear straight into the ball.
The fattest knight at Gingerly Arthur's round table was Sir Flowers. He acquired his size from Too Much Buy. 2 hats were hanging on a hat rack in the hallway.
What are the jokes today? Marking this another 420.
You stay here. I'll go on ahead.
Garrett having a great game here. But it looked so good for NRG here. The crowd is going nuts. 4-3 or 4-0, sorry. I did say Mystic was having a bit of a rough game. That was not just because of the one bad clear. He also had a couple of pretty good chances to score, and he just jumped a little bit early. So panicking for Mystic at the start of this game. He definitely needed to calm himself down to hit his shots properly. Very big not in the Batmobile, in the Octane, worth mentioning again. So he spent a lot of the season in the Batmobile, but Octane, I feel, is a very, very solid land car. Kato really not paying much attention to what was in front of him there. As Jacob kind of telegraphed that demo. Thanks for this sub, by the way, Manny the Malware Moose. It's an incredible name, and I do appreciate that. Of course, Fireburner doesn't lose a 50-50 ever. He might have actually flip reset there. I'm not sure if he realized or tried to flip immediately after. Garrett with another great setup. Passes it to himself off the wall, and he's up almost immediately. Like that, landing and straight back up. And notice Garrett didn't accelerate into that because he knew that the ball was barely in front of him. Hey, that was just 6 months, select tuck 1, 2, 3. Very much appreciated.
My sprinkler goes like this.
Hold on, listen to this. That's amazing.
Stan comes back like TH. And
that is
not.
Well, the first half of that was a really, really good split sprinkle impression. The second half was not. Thanks for the resub regardless. Badge upgrade for you, Luck Tuck. And a new sub from Look at My Bum XD. I can't look at your bum. You're a Twitch chat account. I didn't know that they had bums. Thanks for the sub regardless. We should finish these today so we can get some actual content. Hey, if you don't want to watch VOD reviews, watch someone else's stream, buddy. Watch someone else's stream. Because a lot of people have been asking for these, and I decided, you know I don't get as many views in these videos, but I don't mind. If enough people are asking me for them, then I'll do them. Because I know that a lot of you like to do them. And I'm trying to learn more about what these teams are doing in a very specific manner, towards the end of this tournament, mainly. Because I won't lie, RLCS Season 3 was a bit of a messy tournament from teams like Flipside, and I would say everybody outside the top 3 had pretty messy tournaments. Leftovers against Flipside were great. Everywhere else they were pretty dodgy. And then the top 3 were very good. So we want to see the top 3 play. Now every review, from now till the end of this series, will be the top 3 teams all playing each other. We'll have all 3 matchups. First NRG versus Mockit, then NRG versus Northern, then Northern versus Mockit. So they're the 3 best teams at the LAN on stage. Oh, sorry, I pressed spacebar by accident.
This is a test of endurance. Yes. Can NRG keep this up? A lot of teams we see they come out.
And I know that this will be a long video, so I'll skip between games. In fact, there's nothing else to say at the end of this because it is so one-sided. We'll just skip on to the very start of the next one because I don't want to waste any of you guys' time on games that are already over. But yeah, I knew that was a very one-sided game, so I thought I'd just get some chit-chat done. Really bad start for Mockit again. I would say this is another very bad play by Mystic. This time he did try to wait for the half volley wall clear. But notice, what type of jump does he try to use here? We just have to look at the orientation of his car. So he starts off facing up the wall. 1 second. Sammy Gat 33, welcome back. 4 months. Boy, my to you. But let's very quickly pay attention to Mystic's car here. as he flips. I think it was a side flip, if I'm not mistaken. Do you guys see a side flip there? I saw a side flip. That's what I wanted to see, because usually in that position, side flips are superior, but only if you can time it well. Side flip takes your car away from the wall with the ball. Front flip doesn't really take your car away from the wall. As soon as you jump, that takes you away from the wall, then you front flip, it just flips on the spot. It doesn't change your distance away from the wall. But side flips do, and that's why I was looking at it for side flip there to see if Mystic missed by not side flipping, but he did side flip. Just bad positioning again by Mystic. Not a good series for him to start things off. In fact, one of the messiest ones we've seen, because Mystic was having a pretty good land to this point, and Firebird with an easy mind game there.
Trying to bait out Fairy Peak, he does get a 50-50.
Garrett jumping off the wall there shows a lot of faith in Jacob and Fireburner behind him, because that was blocker nothing. Crowd cheering Fireburner. There's a good chance he would have been able to hear that, in fact. I like that Fairy Peak was willing to just shoot that ball off target, make sure that he gets it past his opponent in front of him. Again, apologies for the yawning. I have been traveling 18.5 hours yesterday just to get home, so I've been pretty exhausted.
As much as they can, but NRG is just ruthless.
But I do remember this series is a very, very close one, so we want to pay almost attention to it. Again, another bad jump by Mystic. Notice every time that he's jumping for the ball, or very often when he's jumping for the ball in attack and when he's been positioning himself for wall clears, his positioning has been a little bit off. He's jumping and committing to lines of attack and even like lines of wall clears before fully aligning his car. I remember, oh, shot by Fairy is pretty good though. I remember I was talking to Greasy once about why he thinks he's one of the fastest players, and he thinks it's because he always takes just a very quick moment to steady himself before jumping. That's a phenomenal shot by Fairy Peak. Great positioning by Mockit, something that they do far more often than their opponents. I think Mockit and Flipside are the players who just don't use the back wall as much as other teams, or at least this iteration of Mockit. Of course, they're now a new roster, but they use the direct infield pass a lot more than NRG here. It's a decent, jump by Mystic. He didn't quite read the bounce off the ceiling properly, but he was up very fast, which puts pressure on NRG. When is DreamHack Atlanta? Atlanta is the weekend beginning the 20th of July. Actually, I'm going to look up exactly when it is. It's the weekend beginning the 21st of July. 23rd. It's the Rocket League tournament. Thanks, Casual Ravenclaw, for the sub, by the way. Welcome to the stream. Appreciate you using Twitch Prime here, and of course, you could have used that anywhere. I do not forget that. Oh my goodness, what was this? Dodgy from K-Dub. I can't believe they let that ball go across their goal before shooting it. Fairy Peak could have scored in the initial shot there. I feel like a perfect redirect would have gone in. Uncontested. Fairy Peak pre-jumping there is pretty dodgy. When somebody's shooting from massive distance, you don't really need to pre-jump, because fast aerials get you up so quick, you probably would have been there in time anyway, and Fairy Peak's such a quick player. I think I prefer his Octane play. Don't know what you guys think, but from what I've seen in the past of Fairy Peak in the Octane and in the Batmobile, I prefer the Octane. K-Dub didn't think K-Dub was, or K-Dub didn't think Jacob, sorry, was going to get down to that ball so quickly as he did.
His teammates was able to put the shot far post. And now 1:44 left to go. NRG a win here will put them up 2.
Oh, he jumped to avoid a demo. I didn't see that. That's really well noticed of you. The camera work for this RLCS is better than other RLCSs, but I feel like a lot of key info was still missed. But good spot there. I was looking at my chat. Oh, speaking of demos, it just missed.
NRG players demoed at the same time. Garrett G. Try and play this one down, Fireburner.
Interesting that Garrett went for the pass off the wall to himself. Why are we still in Like, this is one of the reasons why I don't like autocam. I'll very quickly just highlight this. Is like, why are we watching from this perspective in the middle of the field? It's such a weird angle to be in. This doesn't happen in other sports, you know? Why aren't we looking at this field from the side? That's my only observation there. It's just very strange. Do you think it would be a good idea if the RLCS winners, to let the RLCS winners create a car? Doing a decal to celebrate RLCS winners would be pretty cool. It's kind of like a skin in League of Legends for their world champions. I feel like it would be pretty cool if just every pro team had their own decal or their own stickers that you could put on windshields. Be a pretty cool way to support teams. Fairy Peak looking like the best player on Mockit this series. Has to be said. But it hasn't been enough.
Who's the fastest player in your opinion?
Oh, Devo by far. Devo's speed and just his awareness of what he is capable of doing is just mind-blowing. Like, we'll see in another review later on, like Devo's flip reset pass to Turbo for one of their goals is like the best assist I've ever seen. Just absolutely ridiculous. Sorry about the noise, by the way. Mockit, pretty good comeback team, usually. Jacob trying to get an interception, but he needed to clear the ball sideways, not to get a shot straight towards him immediately afterwards. It's Mystic predicting correctly where Jacob is going to clear that. Wait, do you guys see that? Hold on, let me move myself or watch. I'm going to turn off my face cam. The RLCS spectator had a friend come online. Watch the bottom right. High quality production right there. They actually tie this. So well done by Mockit to keep that in the air. Oh my word, K-Dop even, or Fairy Peak even at the end, trying to get underneath it to keep it up. That was so sick. I saw Gibbs' video, or at least I watched the start of it, about the kickoffs that Jacob was doing. And yeah, sure, I like that he's losing the kickoff to the back, and I think he had a pretty high percentage of it, which is impressive. But listen to the crowd. That's a great pass by K-Dop, oh my word. That's so well done. Look at what K-Dop does here to rip this ball so quickly at Mystic. Catches it, and he realizes he wants to flick this to Mystic, but the ball's in the front of his car. If he does a diagonal left front dodge here, the ball's hardly going to move. But with a side flip, look at the front right corner of his car, just whip the ball right past his opponent. Look at that. Ridiculous speed. That was such a sick pass from K-Dop. Anytime that the ball's like touching your car, but it's kind of rolling off the front and the side and you want to like flick it, just make sure to side flip. Side flips are OP in that situation. That was a disgusting comeback though. The 0-second equalizer. Feels bad for NRG.
That was like 3 goals in like 30 seconds.
Front left corner, no, the front right corner. The thing about it, if your car's here and the ball is on one side of your car, let's say it's on the left, and you side flip, it's actually the front right corner of your car that like side flips and whips the ball. It's the other side of the car. You don't want to be hitting the car, like getting beside the ball and then side flipping into it with the front left. Side flips when the ball's falling off the front of your car on one side. You're wanting to hit it with the side that's about to rotate over the top of you, like roll into the ball. Side flips where you side flip into the ball with the side of the ball that's closest, or the side of the car that's closest to the ball. That's when it's beside. This Fairy Peak had a phenomenal game here, by the way. Phenomenal game.
Would have probably cleared it and it may have touched the ground, but after that his teammates were there in support. We'll see who is.
Yeah, side flipping into the ball with. Oh, sorry, we missed a goal already. Not the first time that NRG have just scored right away.
Mockit ever alive in the series. Fairy Peak will send that one down.
Really bad clear by Fairy Peak though. Mystic trying to keep it safe. He needed to pinch that off his own crossbar to get some real distance on it though. But he panics because he knew he's alone. Mystic could have probably cleared that a little bit later. He just needed to wait till the ball was closer to his net to give himself more time to catch up to it. Again, Mystic's jumps this series have been a little bit rushed so far. He's trying to go faster, but by jumping in the wrong positions and at the wrong timing, he's making it that he's having to change his angle of approach mid-air, which is obviously less efficient boost-wise and slower than just very quickly tapping on that analog stick to make sure that he turns before jumping.
Been enjoying your game reviews so far, BB. Any predictions for the outcome of DreamHack Atlanta?
DreamHack Atlanta, if Envious go, I think it'll be... I mean, let's say if Envious, Galeforce, and Flipside all go, they look like the best teams in the world at the moment to me. But I think NRG will be there as well, so they'll be in the conversation. Those are the 4 teams that are looking really good right now. And it'll be interesting to see if G2 can play any better than they did in their qualifier for RLCS. I think they definitely have the talent. JNaps for a while, right after RLCS Season 2 was my pick for best player in North America. Garrett G was in a little bit of a slump, and JNaps was popping off trying out for G2. I thought JNaps was definitely the best player in NA at that time.
Fireburner into the middle, off the wall, Fairy Peak intercepts.
A lot of heavy touches here by Mockit. A lot of booming clear attempts, which isn't really playing into what NRG are doing, because NRG are not challenging absolutely everything. They're quite happy not, like we see there, Garrett not challenging the initial hit, instead just waiting. Would have been able to score that if you put it on target. Bit of a misplay by Fireburner and Jacob though. Rare double commit. And it should be a goal, and Fairy Peak still continues to have a good series. We're going to back it up here real quick. See why on earth there was such a ridiculous double commit from... Oh, sorry, we went a bit too far there. I don't know why it's taking so long to load every time I change the time. So Fireburner should be able to see Jacob turning here to go for this ball. I'm not sure why he double committed.
First donation on Twitch might as well be.
Oh, thanks, man.
Up the amazing work. Less than 3.
Honestly, nah. Thanks for your first ever donation. This is a really bad double commit as well, because neither of these guys are getting back in the game very fast. They're both so far away from the play. Garrett making the same mistake as Mystic though. He may have been able to clear that better if he just jumps a little bit later. You can't see Garrett here jumping a little bit early. He jumped and flew forward. I feel like we're jumping a little bit later and flying straight up might have been better with the boost that he had. Who's on Envious? Envious is the Northern Gaming roster. Northern Gaming transferred their roster to Envious. So we're on a Fairy Peak there a little bit late, but we do see him still playing, I'd say, the best on Mockit. K-Dot with a no-look clear.
From Mockit, move it back out to midfield. Jacob gets it past the first. He'll look to be setting up Fireburner here. He'll move in, but Mystic gets the clear.
WST, I don't know what WST stands for. Doink from Fire would have been a goal there.
Jacob keeps that pressure on, but Mockit will be able to transition this back out to midfield, push it into the...
I feel like, well, with how Mystic has been playing this series, he's been playing a little bit rushed and dodgy. This has definitely been 3 games at the start here that NRG could have won pretty convincingly.
Now Mystic.
But they're kind of making some... They're making good team plays, but they're also making some very bad team plays, like the double commit. But overall, they're their strategy of just letting Mockit hit the ball at them and then collecting it has been working pretty well. Oh, that's a solid 50-50 by Fury though. Good save by Jacob. Patience to wait for the ball, or wait until he caught up to the ball. Does Northern still have the auto bid? What does that even mean?
They're starting to get outpaced a little bit. They need to be careful. Earlier in this game, we saw them a little more confident as they rotated back, but now Mockit Esports getting close.
Have I noticed any of the missed passes that Mystic complained about at DreamHack? I didn't hear him complain about that at DreamHack. Can you elaborate? I didn't get to hear any of the interviews at DreamHack.
Push it out, soft touch, K-Dop able to move it, and Jacob misses on the wall too.
Jacob, bad whiff there. Also notice he didn't recover in the ceiling, he kind of nose planted. He should have immediately started air rolling backwards after that miss to land on the ceiling and then double jump back down to the ground to get down there faster. Like it would have been faster and more efficient to even like fly that little bit faster onto the wall, or onto the ceiling and land there with his wheels, just to get down quick. Fireburn's 50-50s are so good. If I asked him why he thinks they're good and he doesn't really know. Either he say, I think he might know, but he just doesn't say.
And this one will fall back in front of the NRG goal. Mystic up, trying to set up off the backboard. Fireburner puts extra pace on it as the
now this looks dangerous for NRG. Mockit had a big chance there to clear the ball high, and they still do have a pretty good opportunity, but volley from Mystic means OT. You want to go against me, but you're going to lose 50-0, so you're not going to go against me. Well, that makes sense. Northern Gaming still have to qualify. Yeah, well, I mean, or the players on the auto qualification spot. Players on the auto qualification. Mystic again with a pretty weird touch. Just not buying enough time for his team there. I've actually heard some casters be quite wrong, in my opinion, about their assessment of gameplay after face-offs. I've heard a lot of people say that since face-offs are a set piece, it's quite easy to know where people are going to be. And that's true sometimes. It's quite easy to know where your teammates are immediately as the ball is hit on face-off. But beyond that, the two players that hit off the ball in face-off, they're going into a very volatile situation. So they're going to be in a pretty unpredictable spot right after. The two players who go for the ball, or, you know, go for fake challenges or whatever immediately after that, are going to be in pretty weird spots. So I feel like, you know, 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds after a face-off, it goes into one of the most chaotic moments in a game of Rocket League. I think that the kickoff itself can be controlled if one team outplays the other and wins possession. They're going to be in control, the other team might be able to read what they're doing and react accordingly. But a lot of times face-offs result in some of the most chaotic and disorganized play, which is why we often see multiple goals happen in Rocket League. So if somebody scores a goal, it breaks that tension, everybody's back to low boost, and now you can capitalize pressure. And I feel like this sort of zone right now, this is a mess in Rocket League and pro play. So many people don't know if it's their ball to go for, don't know if they should be going for the ball, don't know how much boost their teammates have. But if the game settles into, you know, midfield play, like now we're getting into a bit more of a controlled situation where teams have been able to spread out, they've been able to secure boosts and everybody on the field. If the ball is switching sides, there's lots of space being utilized, lots of big boost pads are being taken all around the field. So this is more controlled in my opinion. And it's harder to break down defenses like this. Takumi left the match, Takumi joined the match. Some production errors going on again. Thank you, by the way, Sergeant Snowman, for the Twitch Prime sub. Appreciate it. How about I rate Team Rocket during this RLCS? Team Rocket were pretty much they got as far as expected, right? Which was not very far.
Here's the pass downfield to the corner. It'll be Fireburner who is there. He and Garrett G moving in. They'll bounce back around. This one favors Mockit. K-Dop's in the air, but Jacob will get it away.
When asked about, sorry, I'll pause to read this question because I know somebody was asking about this earlier. When asked about how he, that's Mystic, feels on Flipside being different from his time on Mockit, he said that Flipside players were actually there when he passes to them as opposed to Mockit players not being there. So if we look at the individual tendencies of players on this Mockit roster here and the Flipside Tactics roster of Greasy, Marky, and Greasy, Marky, and Cuxer. The two, like, similar player, or there are two players who play different roles very similarly on each team. One of them is, or one of those roles is like the sweeper, the defensive player, and I feel like for that famous Flipside team it's Greasy more recently, and for Mockit it's Mystic. They both like to play further back, and that doesn't mean that they don't score many goals and that they're not capable strikers or attackers. It's just they like to sit deep when they're defending. They don't like to make early challenges. They prefer to let their teammates pressure the ball first. That's Greasy and Mystic. For Marky and K-Dop, I'd say they're the most aggressive players on those teams. They love to challenge first. They love to turn at the first opportunity, often breaking rotation, just to go back to the ball. And as long as their teammates know that that's going to happen, they see a ball spill into an aggressive position and Marky's already upfield, K-Dop's already upfield, and they're likely to turn for it just because that's their playstyle, it's absolutely fine. As long as the player is further back and has all the information, plays the situation correctly, there's nothing wrong with breaking rotation. It's only when you break rotation and then the last man comes in at the same time as you that it becomes a problem. And then there's the middleman, which I think is Cux and Fairy for these teams, who sort of does in the middle of both. He tends to rotate out much faster or earlier in attack than K-Dop and Marky, but defensively they don't like playing as slow, in threes at least, slow and patient, as Mystic and Greasy do. Yeah, Mystic, a very patient player in defense. Loves to watch the situation develop and only move in when he knows he can make a solid hit on the ball. Same with Greasy. But the thing about Greasy is that he wants to carry. He wants to be the best player. Mystic, I'm not sure if he has the same. I've never heard Mystic say that. I think Mystic is a little bit more of a supporting personality, which kind of lends itself to that role better. I feel like that's why Mockit had a better tournament than Flipside. At least one of the reasons. But going back to that statement, this discussion all came from a statement that Mystic made saying that he, in his recent tournament win with Marky and Cuxer at DreamHack, comparing that experience for him to playing on Mockit with K-Dop and Fairy, he said that his passes, again this is a, hold on, let me pause and finish my thought and then go back to this play that just happened. He said that the players on Flipside are there for his passes more often. And I said that Marky and K-Dop are two very aggressive players. They love to sit very far forward when they're receiving passes. Cuxer and Fairy Peak like to hide in the shadows a little bit more and try and come from a surprising location in attack. Marky and K-Dop are just there so early in your face. They're like, well, you better defend this shot the second it's in a scoreable position because that's where I'm going to shoot from. Whereas Cuxer and Fairy, they sit a little bit back, they demand more high passes and they want to shoot like that. Unless it's a breakaway. We're not talking about breakaways here, we're talking about sieges, we're talking about contains, that sort of situation. But I feel it could just be a personality thing that makes Mystic feel like he synergizes better with Marky and Cuxer. Could be an English thing. I feel like they might just get better. Can I 1v on you please? No. Unless you snipe me. Which is fine, is possible. Any games? Well, we're going to watch the rest of this. But I did want to point out something that happens quite a lot right here. But yeah, it could be a personality thing, it could be a speaking English thing. Both K-Dop and Fairy are French, Mystic is Scottish, Marky's Scottish. Cuxer's played his entire professional career with Marky, so they might communicate better. But watch this by Garrett. So right there, if you notice his dodge didn't take him towards the ball, and that's because when you're going straight up the wall, you pretty much have to guess which way your side flip is going to take you. If you lean slightly, if you drive slightly to the left as you're going up the wall, and then you also dodge to the left, you're going to flip away from the wall. If you turn slightly to the right on the wall, so you're no longer going up directly. Oh, that's a good aerial bump by, or jump bump by K-Dop, Jacob predicting K-Dop's jump. What a shot by Fairy. To K-Dop knows Fairy wants a high pass here. It's a bullet from Fairy. Just bombed it on the net. You saw that the defender from NRG was afraid that they might commit too far into the net, but it turned out that they were just defending their wall when the shot was hit. A little bit too far back.
Right now, Mockit looking in control.
But yeah, when you're driving straight up a wall, if you want to know which way you need to side flip to flip away from the wall and hit that ball as it bounces, or before it bounces, whichever, then just make sure that you're turning left before dodging left, or turning right before dodging left, just to be a little off vertical line. That's a really smart back down by Ferry. What he does here is he baits the 50-50, and then just as his opponent is going to dodge in the ball, he just peels away from it to let the ball bounce off him in a non-volatile situation. So it's just like Garrett hits it once, it bounces off Ferry, and then it exits the scene without hitting Garrett again. If Ferry stayed tight to the ball there and Garrett hit it into Ferry, it would have ricocheted between them multiple times very quickly. That would have led to a much more volatile situation. So control from Ferry in a situation where they already had the lead. Very smart. Give it a says better, me or Toasty. At what? You have to be more specific. I think set to destroy have a chance in Season 4. I don't think they'll get top 8. Because I didn't think they get top 8 this time. And they haven't improved that much, in my opinion. Not from what I've seen.
Tries to cut it off in front. NRG also misses. This leaves just Fireburner with his wheels.
Oh, one thing that I wanted to talk about regarding this series, and that is one of the biggest differences between NRG and Rogue in my opinion, is that NRG are so much better at defending ground plays from Mockit, particularly Ferry and K-Dop. And the reason that they do that is because they almost always challenge in pairs. And they find themselves in 1 versus 3, 1 versus 2, 1 versus 1 situations in defense way less often than Rogue do. Let's take a look at this goal. The camera work for this is positively horrendous, but that's a phenomenal first touch by Mystic. He realizes that as he jumps for that ball, Garrett turned around. So Garrett fakes a challenge, gets Mystic to bite by jumping, because Mystic, if Garrett had kept challenging, would have hit the ball right over the top of Garrett's head. Garrett knows that, turns around, but he turned a little bit too early, and that let Mystic take a super soft touch, fly down to the ground, and then hit it up again to match Garrett's actual challenge. That's a really, really phenomenal play by Mystic. The first touch was excellent. Definitely one of the best goals that I've seen, or individual goals I've seen. Look at the trust from Jacob there. You have to credit Jacob for not going for this initially. Clearly he was called off this by Garrett, who gets dunked on by Mystic. Mystic, did you get a bump on Jacob here? Do you remember? Did you bump Jacob into this ball? Or did you miss? Because it looked like Jacob's attempted clear failed, which would make sense in the situation.
This is starting to look like game number 1.
How is it possible to talk here right now? Because this is a Twitch stream, not a YouTube video. Twitch viewers get the benefits of watching my contribution to this video live. We're watching a video though. I can pause this and play it.
Will be able to save that one away. Keep the pressure on here.
Do you think there'll be international championships for the second RLCS divisions? What do you mean? I don't think so. Who would I say is better, me or Tosi? Well, you have to elaborate. That's a bit vague. K-Dop doing what K-Dop does best, just bombing a shot right past the goalkeeper. Very big kind of faking Jacob out there by just being there way before Jacob was, but missing the ball.
3 goals up, only 3 shots from NRG. When K-Dop has a read option like that, he can just look at the field and decide what he wants to do. Jacob is hard pressed.
At Johnny Boy, please. What? Please what?
Now Mystic taking the shot towards the goal. This series has slowly swung more and more in favor.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, why do NRG do better? Or multiple reasons why NRG do better against ground plays than Rogue do. Like, we don't see Mockit trying to take this to the ground because they know that NRG always challenge in pairs. And what I mean by that is they challenge with one player, and if that challenge fails, at least they've probably made the Mockit player relinquish possession, and the second player is always ready to step up. Like, the NRG are the only team in America that rotate like an EU team, because that's how top European teams rotate. They just make dribbling plays very difficult by always challenging together. Right, there's the pass. Garrett getting a little bit ahead of himself though. Garrett closed the area that Jacob was able to aim in that would still be a good pass by kind of getting a little bit too far forward and also central. Staying more left would have, staying on the left hand side of the field more would have given Jacob more space to aim the pass to. Oh, the chat is slow enough, can you answer this? Yeah, that's usually the case for RLCS VOD reviews. People aren't spamming as much because there's never, well, there's no like hype in VOD reviews because I just kind of try to chill out, make it a little bit more of a relaxed environment compared to when I'm casting ones on stream.
They have to make the solid touches on offense if they want to be able to take it to Mockit. Right now, Mockit has a stranglehold on this game.
NRG seems to be slowly unraveling so many missed touches and missed opportunities. They're not following up their own clears, they're just giving it back up in possession.
Jacob Garrett G.
Jacob, or K-Dub right there, doing exactly what he did to Rogue at DreamHack quite recently. That is, he sees somebody air dribbling the ball, in that case Jacob, and he knows that Jacob is never going to threaten a shot or a pass from that distance. He's pretty much just air dribbling the ball forward, hoping that somebody on Mockit commits and gives an opportunity to take them out the game. But K-Dub knows that that's what's happening. He just backs off and waits for the play to be fully wasted by NRG and then moves in to take the ball. This is actually something that NRG were doing. They were frustrating Mockit in the same way. Both these teams playing almost mirror strategy. When they're winning, they just sit back, wait. Which can work, but against teams that are very unpredictable in attack, like Flipside, it can, or just Devo, any team that Devo's on, it can be dangerous to give them so much time on the ball. Better overall player. I mean, I don't know, overall, game mode wise, I think Toasty's probably better at threes because he plays way more threes than me, and then I'm probably better at ones and twos because I played more ones and twos than he has. Quite simple. But Toasty's, I think, I haven't talked to him about his actual Rocket League play. I think he's been playing a lot of Rocket League recently. That's a beautiful team play, by the way. Beautiful by Jacob. Fireburner spots Jacob, or knows Jacob's in the back wall. And Jacob just takes the ball away from Mystic, who thought that he had it for free. I love that Garrett went aggressively at this. He wasn't thinking at all about a situation where he gets beaten to the ball, because they need to probably take that chance if they want to win this game. They need to score that. So Garrett just goes for it, and I love that. Playing the clock perfectly.
At this point, the ball stays off the ground into zero. They can keep this game going as long as they want. The opportunity is always there. Fireburner towards Jacob into the midfield. K-Dub and Mystic on the defense.
Oh man, so many fake 50-50s from Mockit at the end of these games. It's very well done. Because they don't want volatile situations here. They want controlled situations. It's nice to see an attempt to keep that up right before the ball hit the ground. Smart play, of course. If they're on 0 seconds, you want to hit the ball into the curves on the floor where it meets the wall, so the ball bounces up for longer. Anyway, just like I said, we want to make this as short because I know it's gonna be a super long video. We'll try and trim it wherever possible. So I think NRG boys cried about losing a series more or less than Miss Jewel did when she thought she killed Jewel in Last of Us. Oh, definitely less. That was so funny. I really enjoyed that. For anybody who doesn't know what that is referencing, it's just another streamer that I know called Miss Jewel who thought she killed Jewel in The Last of Us. And for those of you who haven't played it, I won't spoil what happens or what can happen, but yeah, she thought she killed one of the main characters. She was crying. It's very funny. Thoughts on new Mockit roster? I think it's a downgrade, probably, for the time being, but we'll see how they do. I'm gonna get replay effects. I don't know what that is. Phenomenal first touch there by Jacob. Putting it into a position where he can recover on the wall and then beat his opponent to the ball. Something I was crediting Garrett for earlier.
Mockit has ball control again. They'll push it straight back into the orange corner. Solid clear from Garrett right back downfield. But you know, all the positioning right now is on this far side of the field.
He plays a lot anyway. You mean Krazak? Who plays? Why are we talking about Krazak? Are there any pro players left that are not in teams? Jazer wanted to make a new team. That's why I'm asking. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, I haven't heard of Fairy Peaks roster plans.
Puts it over the side. We'll stay at 0-0 here.
I've talked to Sizz about why I think K-Dop is such a dangerous player in threes, in ground play situations. And my assessment on it, like why does K-Dop's 1v1 play transition into threes so well? My assessment is that K-Dop plays offense pretty quickly in 1v1. He doesn't waste much time. He thinks, or at least he often, most of the time, plays with the mindset of he wants to score as early as possible when he gets the ball. Because the earlier you score, the less time there is for your opponent to recover and try to counter what you're doing, figure out what you're doing. And that transitions very well into 3v3 because obviously in 3v3 you've got 3 opponents trying to disrupt what you're doing, not just one, so you have to play faster to play around that. And that is contrary to some other 1v1 players who attack in a very slow manner. That's a great knock forward by Fairy Peak, by the way, on target and high from the midfield. He did a good job air rolling upside down just to make sure that his forward dodge would get underneath the ball. Then the double commit gave an opportunity for NRG to take the lead here. Thanks usual W for the sub, by the way, appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. But yeah, there's players like Marky, Pashi, they're characteristically slow players in offense. Kux, Kronovi like to play quite slow offense in 1v1. Quite famous for it. Even Dapper, and another very, very successful ones player, very controlled in his offense. And it can, if players are extremely good at flicking in particular, that's a great skill for 3v3. I'm not saying that, you know, slow, controlled 1v1 approach doesn't transition to 3v3 at all. It does, but playing very quickly and trying to attack quickly in 1v1 transitions perfectly to 3v3. Just trying to quickly create chances, quickly cause problems, quickly surprise the other team. That's what K-Dub does so well in his ones game, why it transitions to threes in such a dangerous manner. Is the Merc good or is everybody trolling you? The Merc's pretty good. It's decent. It's more about what feels good for you though. If it feels good, play it. If it doesn't, then don't play it. Oh my goodness, is this a Fireburner 50-50 goal? It is now. I didn't see this. Of course it's a Fireburner 50-50 goal. Fireburner just making sure that he gets in a position where he can flip through the ball, and Fairy Peak panics because there's only a minute left and he didn't know that he was alone.
So many own goals. So many own goals today. These teams want it so desperately, and it creates the jitters.
Any thoughts on how bubble teams get better if they're only allowed to practice against top teams in RLCS or MCS? Just play ranked, I think, and see if, like, just queue up a ranked game, see if there's another good team playing. If there is, you're likely to get them again. If they're not any good teams, then just stop playing ranked, and you're more likely to hit pro players in 2v2. You can learn how to play against and with better players in 2v2 usually, because all the pro players play 2s, and then just go and practice with your team, like your 3s practice. Even if you're not getting to practice against really good 3s teams, you can just improve your own team play, and then improve your mechanics and your skill against top players by playing 2s, because that's what they all play. That's my best advice to you. What's the deal with Australia at the World Cup? Why no off Sydney players is because Yummy Cheese Man chose the players he did. Like I passed on all of the selections for Australia to him because he knows better than I do for that region, and he chose them because those are players that are more accomplished playing in US West server, which is where a lot of their games were going to be played. In fact, I believe all of their games are going to be US West. Yeah, throughout the tournament, all of their games are going to be US West, regardless of who they played, because that's the server that is the most amicable for Australia versus non-Australian teams. Blame Yummy. The Alpha Sydney guys, he told me that they don't like playing on US West as much as like Bango Express and Dumbo, and they're not as used to doing it as Bango Express and Dumbo. Yeah, we're going into game 7. quite this video's been quite a lot of general discussions on topics, long drawn out discussions over the top of some low scoring games.
Will win the initial kickoff touch, but K-Dop outright will finish the kickoff into the orange. Jacob up to Fireburner, Fairy Peak, better read in the air, looking to finish this one off.
If Fairy Peak had boost, he could have followed that.
Fairy Peak is looking to redeem himself after that last game. What a save from Garrett G. Will this go the
Is that in?
field? No, Fairy Peak will send it away. It was above the
That was not going in. Why are we on Jacob camera? Okay, now we're finally in a good camera, but before Bolt came down the line, it was just more of a why are we here situation. Doing more reviews after I'm done with this series. Not tonight because it is getting late. I've got a couple of things I want to do, a couple of conversations I want to have with people before I go off tonight. So I'm going to be stopping stream after this one. I will stream again tomorrow though, fear not. Sorry, I'm like in the way of the boost a little bit here. It's a great hit from Fire.
Be able to keep this pressure on, try to drop it through again. That's 3 players tangled up for Mockit and Jacob.
A very Cuxer-esque hit where he's just able to find a ton of power. Something that Cuxer's able to do a lot more often than other players. You'll see sometimes players will see Cux on or approaching the ball and they think, is he gonna hit the ball really hard because he's Cuxer? Maybe he'll miss it at this time, and they move forward a little bit just to try and cheat into a position where they can reach the ball faster, and then Cux booms it. This looks like a boost-starved situation for Mockit. We just saw K-Dop approach from that side. Yeah, Fairy Peak did not have more than 12 boost there. It's really, really well done by Jacob to just race to the ball and try and put it away from his opponent. Gotta go over what NG did differently second time around? Yeah, sure, I will try to, certainly.
Never a team to be counted out. The shot from Mystic blocked by Fireburner, who is followed up and demoed by Mystic. He was not happy about that shot being saved. K-Dop will take another shot.
Oh my word, what a rifle from K-Dop. Crowd is just dead again. Fireburner should have saved that though. Has to be said, Fireburner should have saved that. He didn't respect K-Dop's shot enough. Crept a little bit forward off the goal line, and that was enough to put himself in an awkward position. Was my highest rank this season? It was Champion 1.
In Game 7, Jacob with the follow-up here into the corner.
I didn't really make a push at the end of the season. I don't even know if the season's ending, honestly. Like, I've just been way too busy to play Rocket League.
Jacob will get the save. Savior medal already in Game 7 for Jacob. Fireburner will send this one high. Jacob down the field now. No follow-up.
What are they singing? Oh, they're singing na 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 Jacob. I like it.
Mystic was lurking on the orange half.
I want to hear more people chanting that though. I feel like it's just a small part of the crowd. They're chanting Jacob. But yeah, there was, after I got Champ 1, there was kind of like no motivation for me to go any further, or try to go any further, because, throwback to Overzero's goal, I guess upside. Yeah, just because it's such a grind to get to Grand Champion, you have to play so many games, and in such a short period of time to actually improve. With how much traveling I've been doing, I knew that it was just not going to be worth it that much. A few bad saves and clears. All these clears going down the middle is so dangerous. Surprised that K-Dop broke rotation there, didn't just leave the ball to continue bouncing towards his third man. These clears are not good, and this camera work is needing some work as well. Some pretty poor predictions about who's next to move in from El Cameramano. If there's one thing that NRG boys shouldn't have done, what would it be? In this match, if NRG wanted to win this, they had it in their, it was in their hands to win this. I think that individually their players played better. The individual performances were slightly better, but they just started not playing like themselves at some points. They're clearing the ball middle a lot. What are they? That's what they need to well, what they need to not do is stop clearing the ball middle. So many clears middle this game. Fireburner's initial challenge to give K-Dop that free dribble was also pretty poor. Fireburner challenged all by himself. and he got taken out of the game for free. He forced Kate up to dribble past him, but in doing so, he didn't have any backup. It's also noteworthy that whenever NRG are double committing, I feel like their double commits that they do make are really all in, where their recovery times are not good at all on their double commits. Mockit, or this Mockit roster, this iteration that we currently see, was quite well known in the pro scene for double committing, and nobody understood why they were still so good while double committing so often. And I'm a believer that it was just because whenever they did it, they were double committing towards walls, so they would just land on walls and get back into the play very quickly. Whereas some other teams who double commit would double commit like flying out into the middle of the field or flying out a net, and there's no wall to land on, so they would have to float back down to the ground like a snowflake, and it would take forever. So Mockit do very well with their choices of when to double commit and which angles to double commit from.
As the final countdown happens,
this game in particular, like, NRG just needed to stop clearing the ball straight into the middle.
Trying to pop it up, but Mystic says no, shuts it down. Fairy Peak just wants to slam it down. Can they get the full court carry? It's what NRG needs. No, it'll touch the ground, and Mockit.
The crowd is so disappointed.
They are through to the grand finals.
So many saves on both teams, 10+ saves for each of these teams.
Even the smoke doesn't seem too happy as a sight.
12 saves for Mockit Esports.
Oh my goodness.
12 saves, which means NRG kept putting on
just
the
a little.
shots. Oh, sorry, those are shots, my bad.
Shots, yeah.
12 shots for Mockit Esports.
I was gonna say 2 + 2 is 4.
They're the same letters. I'm just glancing at it.
Yeah, it would have definitely been better for Rocket League if NRG were in the finals, just have an American team in there. It was a shame, but like I said, a lot of very all-in double commits. Oh, sorry for the right click.
He picks the Batmobile for a lot of that reason. It is so strong in 50-50s, and he wouldn't do it. But now Mockit, undefeated so far here at LAN, they will move forward. NRG, they're
And
not
Mockit, some phenomenal shooting from Fairy and K-Dop in particular this series. Mystic had some better shooting in earlier series in the tournament. I'm sure he would agree that this was not his best series for power shots and power clears.
100% all pick one way and have them be wrong. They all picked flip side against Leftovers, I believe, and Leftovers totally won that. And then they all pick NRG, and Mockit's like, nah.
Have I ever considered being a stand-up comedian? Absolutely not.
And he lost to the one prior.
He gave up faith. Oh, did he?
He lost on the flip side.
Oh, you know, I kind of just said that, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still.
Cool.
What are you doing when you're not playing or watching Rocket League? I play Hearthstone on the side a fair bit. I watch a lot of Netflix series. I do a lot these days of content planning for, I mean, recently Rocket League World Cup has taken an incredible amount of hours of logistical organization, and Bad Panda, my website, is something I'm working on quite a lot. Organizing getting Flipside players to events takes a lot of time. Organizing getting myself to events and stuff like that takes a lot of time. So there's just a lot of organization and stuff going on behind the scenes, as well as you know, continuing to upload a video on my YouTube every day. Oh, sorry, now you get to see my Windows menu as well. Hey Karma, how's it going? How long did it take you to get back to America? How long were you in transit? Karma, I was 18.5 hours.
Performance by this guy. You guys started off. It was
Fairy Peak with the shorts.
Beginning to this series, it looked insanely one-sided. How did you
Fairy
guys
sing a
manage
Mockit with Freaky
to
Pashy?
claw
Oh,
your way
okay.
back into this one?
First, we screamed like Daniel, and we lost every match we did like 4-1. So when we come here, we wasn't confident a lot, but we tried to be energetic and a lot of communication, and now we won. So perfect.
Fairy saying they lost every scrim to denial for, like, by, you know, heavy losses going into this. That's interesting.
There you go. Come into that game 7, first goal from K-Dop, that snipe.
Have I seen Narcos? Yes, I love Narcos. Season 2 is amazing.
Scream every time we had a goal, and K-Dop is very good at scoring. He's the scorer of the team, so when he scored this insane goal in the can, it was perfect. We were really happy.
When K-Dop scores a goal, he screams. This doesn't surprise. Wait, you're in transit from Yongchupping to USA for 36 hours. Oh my word.
days.
It's almost double, or it is
1
just
minute.
under double
So, yeah.
what I took to get home. Yeah, Jönköping is pretty hard to get home from. Not gonna lie, I don't really like going to that venue
to the
and back.
championship game. Are you guys excited about this?
What shows am I watching? I'll pause this for to talk. Legion is amazing. I've never watched Legion, but yeah, I love Narcos, Game of Thrones. I love Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul. Oh, why can't I remember when I have to? I've watched so many more than that. I watched that, what is it called, 13 Reasons Why recently. I don't think it was as good as people hyped it up to be, but it was decent. You're stuck in Copenhagen for a day? Okay, yeah, I heard all of your flights are cancelled. Yeah, that's a little bit of an unfair addition to that return journey. By the way, Greed Nick, I nearly said Green Dick, but Greed Nick, thanks for the Twitch Prime sub, I appreciate it, buddy. Welcome back to you. Have I watched Black Mirror? Dude, yes, Black Mirror, oh my word, yes, what an incredible series that is. It might be my favorite, in fact. I've definitely watched more, I just can't remember right now what they are, but yeah, I love series like that. Anyway, any more interesting questions here?
Of course. This is the biggest tournament of the game. Everybody in this team loves this game. Everybody here loves this game. So, of course, it's a fucking magical day.
Wait, Fairy Pig dropped an F-bomb? Are you serious? Yeah, I only had to go to Scotland. Fairy Pig dropped an F-bomb.
Well done,
I didn't hear
guys.
about this one.
Of course, it's a fucking magical day.
Well done, guys. Give it
Did
up
you
for
guys know the Fairy Pig dropped an
Mockit,
F-bomb?
guys. Take it away, guys, over there.
I didn't hear that till today. There you go, Fairy Pig also dropping an F-bomb, not just Jacob. Oh, that's funny. But that's gonna be it for today's stream, guys. I've been streaming for quite a while. That was a long review. Couldn't hear him. I mean, I don't want to play it too loud because swearing drops your CPMs in YouTube. So I probably just lost about $50 for that swear. Thanks, Fairy. But I'm gonna head off right now. Appreciate all you guys hanging out. I'll be streaming again tomorrow. We'll do some more show matches, I'm sure. I've got some more world record ideas that I want to do. But I'll be back hopefully earlier tomorrow. I was just really busy up until late today. I've got to go do more stuff right now as well. But thanks for watching. Let's see who we can host. Appreciate all the support as well. We'll host Squishy Muffins. Actually, no, we'll host K-Dot. Because K-Dot wasn't stream earlier. And Squishy wasn't, so we'll host K-Dot. Yeah, go say hi to K-Dot. If you haven't heard his sub ritual, somebody sub to him. F off. Alright, I will. But yeah, bye. I'll see you guys later. Go somebody sub to K-Dot so we can hear his... he only speaks very well. Somebody go sub to him so we can hear him sing Easy Street. I'll see you guys tomorrow.